Let me start with a simple question. What does inclusive education really mean? Is it simply being present in a classroom, or is it about being truly seen, supported, and able to learn? Because in reality, being in the same classroom does not always mean learning the same way. Imagine a student who comes to school every day, sits in the same classroom, listens to the same teachers, but goes home without really understanding what was taught. Not because they don't want to learn, but because the learning process may not yet fully match their needs. My name is Intan Fitri Hardyantyi from Institut Teknologi 10 November. And today, I stand here to talk about SDG Point 4, Quality Education. We need to realize that SDG Point 4 is not only about providing access to education for everyone, it is also about ensuring that every learner can truly benefit from it. And this is where inclusive education becomes very important. I'm here today because education has worked for me. It has given me access, confidence, and opportunities to grow. But I also realize not everyone experiences education in the same way. Not because they lack ability, but because learning needs can be very diverse. And sometimes, the system is still in the process of adapting to that diversity. It is a reminder of how complex inclusive education really is. In Indonesia, inclusive education has been strongly supported through national policies. In fact, more than 40,000 schools in Indonesia are currently designed as inclusive schools according to the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research, and Technology. This shows a strong commitment toward expanding access to education for all learners. However, in practice, implementing inclusion is a gradual and ongoing process. According to UNESCO, children with disabilities are 2.5 times more likely to be out of school compared to children without disabilities. In Indonesia, UNICEF reports that around 30% of children with disability have never attended school at all. And for those who are already in school, inclusion does not always automatically translate into full participation in learning. Some of the common challenges include the need for more trained special education support, the availability of accessible learning materials, and varying levels of infrastructure. Adaptation across the regions. In many classrooms, teachers are also working to accommodate diverse learning needs while continuing to adapt their teaching strategies. This reflects that inclusive education is not a static condition, but a continuous effort that involves many stakeholders. Because inclusion is not just about placing students in the same classroom. It is about continuously improving how each learner can grow. So, how do we move from access to true inclusion? We begin by continuing to develop education systems that are adaptive, flexible, and human-centered. As someone engaged in technology and innovation, I believe technology can support this transformation in inclusive education. For example, artificial intelligence can help develop adaptive learning systems that adjust to different student needs, such as speech-to-text tools, personalized learning content, and assistive technology for learners who need additional support. However, technology alone is not sufficient. We also need continuous investment in people. Teachers play a very important role in inclusive education, and supporting them with training and resources can help strengthen inclusive practice in classroom. At the same time, schools continue to involve in making learning environments more accessible as part of long-term educational development. And the most importantly, we need to maintain a mindset that sees inclusion as a shared responsibility, not as a burden, but as an opportunity to build a more empathetic and equitable society. Because true inclusion happens when systems gradually adapt to learners, while learners are also supported to thrive within those systems. We cannot call education truly inclusive if some students are still not fully supported, even inside the classroom. Because inclusion is not about being present, it is about being understood, supported, and empowered. And every student, regardless of their condition, deserves that change, not as a privilege, but as a right. Thank you.